Hey everyone, Sarah here. I apologize for the CrossFit hair. But I did shower and change my clothes, so at least I have clean clothes on and I'm not drenched in sweat anymore. So this is my what I wore this month for July. Because of how the calendar worked, I think most of us had a double cycle kind of in the June-July range. So this is mine, don't get confused. Yes, I did this whole period thing again. I'm actually surprised at the amount of pads I have here because I felt like I wore my cup a whole lot because I was outside by the pool and it's like so hot out and I do not like pads to begin with, like at all. And you know, went to CrossFit a bazillion times and I'm actually very surprised that I have quite this many pads and I used every cup in my arsenal this month. I CrossFitted again in my Lena small, regular purple cup. It tends to shoot up pretty high. I really do feel like I need a firmer cup for CrossFit. So that is my takeaway from this month, but I really do like this cup. When I went to work, I used my Lena Sensitive. I don't know why, but I like the Lena Sensitive for work. And all of these are small sizes because of my low cervix that seems to be getting a little higher, but whatever. But this I really, really like for work. So I used this one. Then I was crazy and I went to CrossFit with this cup on with no backup. Yes, you heard that right. I took the bull by the horns and I was wild. And that is my Maluna Shorty Sport. Definitely like the sport size, I think, for CrossFit or swimming or jumping or whatever, because it stays in place, which is a big, big, big deal because the thing is that this is short, so it tends to whoop, but that I can take as long as it doesn't collapse and leak. This one stays underneath my cervix like it is supposed to. I just need one that has more capacity to it. Then I got my monthly mashup box, and this one I haven't cut the stem off yet. I'm gonna need to do a little bit of trimming, I think, but I wore it outside by the pool and the stem didn't hang out too much. And this is the new cup, the Fleur cup. I got the small size. And there is, and I'll show it next because they're both clear. This is more bell, and this has like more of a rim, and you can definitely tell when it's inserted that it has more of a rim. Now, as for like firmness, it's similar to the Lena. It's very, very similar. You know, I could definitely also feel the ridges here on the bottom, which after a while I would just completely ignore and it would be fine. So I think I'm going to trim some of this stem off and keep it in my car for just in case. It's decently firm and should work well for most situations that I would find myself in if I were out and in the car and get my period. I used 2 cup spots. The little heart cute one from Hoo Hoo Rags with the monkey on it. And I used this, I think it's an OBV from Red Anchor Cloth. I also used an interlabial pad for the first time and liked it. I forget where I got this. I got this from an Etsy maker. But this kind of helped on my gushy day, so I think I'm going to be on the market for some more. And for drying purposes, since I use many different cups in a cycle, I don't usually only use one. I actually have, they're actually breast pads. So I bought a bunch of these and they're flannel backed, and I keep this by my toilet and dry all my cups on it. As for the different pads, I'm gonna go kind of by length, I guess, which seems to be completely backward because I end up starting with all of my liners, which I usually wear at the end of my cycle, whatever. So I wore these 2 kitty cat cloth mice liners. I'm really, really, really liking mice. I have 2 different sizes. They both worked well and did their thing. You can see this one's a little bit longer, and I just dropped them on the floor and got hair on them. But I wear them this way so that I get covered in the front, and hand, so they're kind of like backwards mice. But to be honest, I think this is the most useful of the kitty cat cloth ones. I buy them a lot because they're so stinking cute, but I don't find them to hide very well under underwear, but these do. I also wore this really tiny liner. It's a reversible liner, and it really is just like 2 layers of cloth from Bombshell Cloth, because I was thinking I was having some spotting or something like that, and so I got nothing on it. Didn't get a lot of use. I also wore this lovely from Red Anchor Cloth, and I love it. I wore this light. I do not know the maker on this. But I got this in D-Stash, and this reminds me of like The Wind in the Willows. I don't know if that's the actual print that it is for or not, but it reminds me of the English countryside. I've never been to the English countryside, but it reminds me of that. It makes me very happy. Wore this light in a Juliet shape with, I never get tired of Star Wars prints, ever, ever, ever. And I got this from Little Bit of Heaven Sewing. She has a Facebook page, and she did some customs for me. I wore this red tag badge rag, and this one just makes me happy, so I seem to pull it out all the time. I don't know why it makes me so happy, because it's just a stripy pad, but I just seem to love it. Next I have my go-to backup for CrossFit with the cup. You've seen this one before from Red Anchor Cloth, front bleeder style, OBV, moderate, works really well, and matches the cup spot, just so that you know. I got them at the same time. I forget the maker on this one. This is, I got in a D-Stash as well. Obviously a front bleeder style. I think it's beautiful, but it is very long in the front. I'm not sure I need that much length, but it did what it was supposed to do, so hey, why not? Then I wore one of my favorites, because you know I love my bats. I think this is a 10.5 inch Sherpa. I love bats and I love Sherpa, and this is beautiful, and I love that it's dark because it hides stains, so it doesn't quite need as much stain treatment as some of these other ones, and great coverage. And I think I wore this as cup back up at work. And then one of my favorite shapes, this one from Venus Pads, and this is one of the Maggie Mermaids, but it's the front bleeder style, and I love how this one fits. This might be one of my favorite pads. Got quite stained this time around, and I sun bleached it a little bit too long, I think, because it got a little bit faded, but I don't care. I wore 2 pad ties. One in my favorite Star Wars print. I think this is a 12 inch. This is a 10 inch with uteruses. This one I got in D-Stash. This I did get a custom order for, and I really love her pads. On my heavy day, I of course wore my 3 Grayson Street Emporium fluffy, puffy pads, the watermelons, the books, and the, yeah, because there's like little fireflies in jars. Anyway, wore these lovelies again. Probably will wear them every cycle until they wear out. I wore my Misandry Maid 11 inch. This is the only size I can wear by her because of the extreme flare that it has, but it also has tea bags on it, and I am always in search of new tea prints for pads because I will buy them. And this, she does by how many layers are in it. This is a 4 layer, which is kind of like a moderate to heavy. This one I got in D-Stash. I believe it's a Bridget's Flame. Long, all kinds of flare, and it is, you guessed it, Sherpa. I wore this 16 inch from Grayson Street Emporium, and this is the Beauty and the Beast print. My daughter picked it out. She was like, "You're wearing this tonight," and I said, "Okay." So I did. And last but not least by any means, 16 inch Yurt Craft flannel topped. Had a crazy stain on it that I managed to get out and feel very proud of myself, and I wore this overnight, probably the first night, I think. Yes. So that is that. 4 cups, 16 pads, and 4 liners. Not too shabby, but again, a lot more pads than I expected I was gonna wear. Oh well, you don't know until you count them up at the end. So I'll see you next time, everyone. Bye-bye.